What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Snowstorm Studios. It's Billy here, guys. It's been a long time since I've done a YouTube video. It's been at least a couple weeks. I'll have a video coming out soon talking about why there hasn't been a lot of YouTube videos, but basically I've just been really busy focusing on the streaming, on my new job, stuff like that. But we're back, guys, and as the title said, this is a super easy VMA build. So, guys, this build can beat VMA. It is not the easiest build to beat VMA with, but is the easiest build to get the pieces needed to beat VMA. So I want to give you guys a build that was easy, that can get you in the VMA, can get you working, and yeah, that's basically what this build is. It was the first build I beat VMA with, and I grinded it out till I got my lightning and my fire staff. So I'll show this to you guys to prove my credibility here, and I will also have a VMA run coming out soon. I just need time to film that, but I figured I'd get the build to you guys. You can try it, and then you can let me know what you think. This is a Magic Sorc. So easy easy VMA MAG Sorc. That is gonna be the title that I need to make. Okay, let's get into it here. So first thing, guys, let's go look at the character. We are a Breton, guys. You can be a high elf or you can be a dark elf, but I like the Breton the best. If I go down to the passives, I actually really like the Breton passives for VMA. So we got increased max magicka, increased spell resistance, which is nice, and then reduced cost. Those are all good things for VMA, so I find Breton is my favorite for this. But again, the high elf could be really good, and the dark elf also could be great. We are using Witch Mother's Potent Brew. Super cheap food, that's why I like it. It's going to give you magical recovery, which is needed because we're not going vampire because of all the fire we have to deal with. It's going to give us max magicka and max health. So, Witch Mother's Potent Brew. We're going to do the Apprentice as our Mundus Stone. This is going to give us increased spell damage, guys, which is important because we are trying to burn adds as fast as possible. That is sort of the game with this build, is to get all of your adds into your AoEs and then single target and burn them as quick as possible. If we go look at our skill points, guys, we are doing 61 into magicka and 3 into health. I wanted to get my health over 15k. If you wear... I'll talk about how you can get your health up a little higher, but around 15k is good with Hardened Ward as the shield. If we look at our stats, guys, our max magicka is 39 on the front bar. On the back bar, it should be 37 because we're losing inner light. And then everything else should stay the same. We're going to have max health of 15. We're going to have spell damage unbuffed of 27, spell crit unbuffed of 49, and magicka recovery unbuffed, or well, buffed with the food. 1462. It's all buffed with the food, but there's no other moves up. One of the moves, guys, we'll be using in our skill set, though, is Power Surge. This is going to give us more damage throughout the fight, so it'll actually be at 34 on the back bar, and I think it'll be 32 on the front bar. Yep. So now, let's go look at our inventory. So, guys, the first thing that's really important with this build, in my opinion, is the Asylum Staff. Now, this might be the hardest piece to get for the build, but I do think it is really important to get for the build, and can definitely make your VMA run much smoother than if you don't have it. This is basically going to give you a buff to your spammable, which will be, not Force Pulse, but it'll be Crushing Shock, because we need the Interrupt. So we're going to have it with a Flame enchant, we're going to have it infused, and then what happens is every third cast of Force Shock will apply a Burning, Concussion, or Chilled status, so it's going to give you more damage. The Force Shock cast must be made within 10 seconds of each other, so when you're doing spammable, if you do 3 spammables, you get a chance for this to go off. It actually adds a lot of damage to a parse test, and it adds a lot of damage to a... anything you're killing in the game, or anything in VMA. One of the other things too, guys, this build parse right around 30k, 31k if you get a really good parse, but it is tough, and I don't have a video of it because I'm not used to the rotation, but in VMA, after looking at some things, it looks like it's around 30, 31. So the back bar, guys, obviously, since you haven't done VMA, you're trying to beat it, you are not going to have anything super useful there because of the setup we're doing. So I'm just putting a Lightning Staff of Julianos. We are doing a Lightning Staff, guys, here because the Lightning is going to help with sustain, because heavy attacks give you much more magicka back than a Fire Staff. And we're going to have this one with a Weapon Damage enchant, which is going to give us 348 weapon or spell damage for 5 seconds. Really useful. And then we're going to have it Nirnhone, not infused, because we're using Lightning. Nirnhone, I think, is better. Then for the monster set, guys, and you really can go one of 2 ways here, in my opinion, or one of 3 ways, I guess. You can go Elambris, which is what I chose to go. You can go Grothdar or Scoria. The thing about Scoria is if you see you're dying a lot, I guess I don't have it on me, Scoria is going to give you health. So instead of Elambris, which the one piece is magicka, which I like better because our shields are going to have more protection because they scale off of it. But you can do Scoria for that, for health, and then you can do Grothdar for around you AoE, because the mobs will kind of surround you. So Grothdar might be better, but I've liked Elambris. So Lambrus, guys, is going to give us 1 piece Max Magicka. It is going to, when you deal flame or shock damage, you have a 10% chance to summon a meteor shower of that type that deals 1,485 damage over all enemies within 4 meters every 1 second for 5 seconds. Each effect can occur once every 8 seconds. So it's a really good set. And then what we're doing for this piece, guys, is we're going to put a Magicka enchant, Max Magicka, and then we're going to have it Divines. Same with the other piece, too. We'll have a Max Magicka enchantment and Divines because they're not heavies. Then we are going to go to our 5-piece, guys, which will be Julianos. Now, what I'm going to do, first thing I want to say is the chest, and that is it. Only the chest will be infused. The reason we do this, guys, is we get a little more Max Magicka, and we're trying to find places where we can get more Max Magicka since we are not a vamp, and we are not using Bound Aegis because we have to give it up for a different skill. But Julianos, guys, is a great set. Like I said, we're going to add Max Magicka enchants on all the armor. This one will be infused. Every other piece of armor will be Divines. Julianos is going to give us crit, Max Magicka, crit, and spell damage, guys. It's a great set. You don't have to proc it. It just adds right to your character, which is nice in VMA because there is no point in time in VMA where you can relax. So being able to have all of your stats needed at all the time is really good. So let's go down, then we're going to have the sash, same thing, but now all these are going to be Divines. For the jewelry, guys, we are going to wear Willpower. Again, this is a really, really easy set to get your hands on, and I really, really like Willpower. I think it's just as good as Infallible Ether for a lot of builds, because Infallible doesn't give you that Max Magicka that Moondancer does, but this does. So 2 pieces, guys, are going to give us 1,400 Max Magicka, which is an insane amount, and then the 3rd piece will give us a little more spell damage, which is always good. So for both of the rings, guys, we're going to have them Arcane with spell damage enchants. Arcane, guys, again, going to give us more Max Magicka, which is what is important here, because our light attacks are going to scale off Max Magicka, and our shields are going to scale off Max Magicka. So you need to get as much Max Magicka as possible. If I say Max Magicka one more time, I might end it. Then for the necklace, guys, Arcane again for that Max Magicka, but we will be doing a recovery glyph here, so that's basically going to help our mag recovery, because again, we're not a vampire, so let's find places where we can make recovery stronger, and this is one of the places where you give up a little bit of damage, but with that recovery, it's really, really, really useful. But yep, that is the armor, guys, so it's Willpower, Julianos, Lambrus, Asylum Staff on the front, and then just any staff on the back, so you get your VMA staff, which I hope you get in your first try, your first win. Then, guys, if we go to skills, let's start off on the front bar, guys. Pretty basic stuff here for the Mag Sorc. We're going to be doing Crystal Frag. Basically, guys, as I've said in my other videos, as I bet you've seen, or if you haven't, go check them out, don't ever hard cast Crystal Frag. Always use the one where you can get the quick cast. So it says casting a magic ability with a 35% chance of causing your next Crystal Frag to be an instant, dealing 10% more damage and costing 50% less Magicka. You don't want to use it any other time because you're going to lose so much Magicka. As the famous Deltia coin did, that is a hard frag. You want to do soft frags. So that's what this is. Then, guys, we are going to do Haunting Curse. I was thinking about switching this out with an Execute, but Haunting Curse uses less Magicka and is a damage over time, and you can use during the whole fight. So I decided to use this instead of the Execute, but you can switch in the Execute. You just won't be using it until the enemies are below 20% or 15. The guys, you'll use this once, it'll pop, it'll blow up, and then you get another one after. Really, really useful. Then our spammable, guys, Crushing Shock. The reason we want to go with this is for down here. Enemies hit while casting are interrupted, set off balance, and stunned for 3 seconds. You can stop enemies in VMA like Fire Spinners or what are they called? They're the things on the ice round in round 5. The trolls from destroying the platforms, and so when you do that, you actually can stop them from a distance instead of having to go up and bash them. So you want to use this, not Force Pulse, especially for VMA. Your damage will go down a little bit, but trust me, it's going to be so much easier. Then, guys, this is the interesting one. We are using the Volatile Familiar, so you can put Bound Aegis in for this, but when you're doing VMA, there's a lot of ads, and you don't have a tank, you don't have a healer, you don't have another DPS, so the Volatile Familiar can take aggro of some things, especially in round, I think it's round 2. Round 2, the final part where the 3 Centurions come up. The Centurions will actually shoot at him, not yourself, and let me tell you, it is one of the most convenient ways to get through round 2, and just do the whole thing. I would keep the Familiar all the way up until the last round, and then you can probably switch out for Bound Aegis, because Max Magicka is going to be a little more important, but I keep it on through the whole thing. Again, you just need to focus on Max Magicka, but I use the Lightning Staff to kind of off-balance that, because you can get more Magicka back. And that'll be double barred, guys, so we don't lose it. Then we will keep Inner Light on the front bar, guys. It's going to give us a little more crit, a little more Max Magicka for our front bar, which is always very useful. If you guys haven't gotten Meteor yet, the Greater Storm Atro is a great one. You want to use the Greater Storm Atronach because it's going to have a nice long uptime of 28 seconds, which is an insanely long time when you're in VMA, and it can help you beat anything with single target. It only costs 170 ulti, so it's really not too expensive comparative to like the Desti ult, which we'll be using on the back bar. Oh, for some reason this is 170 as well. My bad. Oh wait. There we go, 213, that's what I thought. So guys, on the back bar, we'll be using the Desti ult. This will be for AoEs. If you're dealing with a whole bunch of ads and you're like in a no shit moment, Desti ult, always good. Then guys, we will be using Power Surge. As always, I am the biggest advocate of this move. Power Surge is going to give us more damage when we crit, which we have 49% chance of critting. So we're going to be critting a lot. It will heal us. And, yeah, that's basically it. It'll heal you and give you more damage. It is, you know, if someone said to me, you know, it's not that important to use in a dungeon because you have a healer, you should use Inner Light to get more crit, and then also just use Spell Power Pots. Fair enough, I agree. But when you have no healer and you're trying to get through VMA, I think Power Surge is an absolute must. But that is just me. Then, guys, again, Volatile Familiar because you know both bars. Our Shield, Hardened Ward. Spam it, guys. It's going to be useful. It's going to keep you alive. Well, don't spam it. Use it. Wait for the 5 seconds. But it scales off Max Magicka. It costs less than Hardened Ward. Or it costs more than Harness Magicka. So, it's great for this Sorc. Then, guys, for our 2 AoEs, Inner Lightning and Blockade of Storms. So, those are the skills, guys. Now, let's get into the champion points. So, really, champion points are almost the same here as my other Sorcs, but I did make some changes, and we can go talk about those first, guys. First thing is, since we're using a Lightning Staff, we did 75 into Thaumaturge. So this hasn't been used this patch because we've been using 2 Fire Staffs, but the Exploiter, increase your damage done against off-balance enemies by 10%. If you're using a Lightning Staff with Liquid Lightning and Elemental Blockade, you're going to get a lot of enemies off-balance, so you might as well put 75 into Thaumaturge. Now, what you're going to give up for that is you're going to give up a bunch on Master at Arms, so direct damage will be decreased. We're only going to do 44, and then we're only going to have 8 in Staff Expert instead of 9. Then, obviously, Spell Erosion, guys. Let's get that Spell Pen up. We're going to do 28, Elemental Expert 43, and then Elfborn 52. Elfborn's going to increase crit, Elemental Expert will increase damage with elements, and then Spell Erosion will increase Spell Pen. Then, guys, we will be using Tumbling for Roll Dodge. It's super important in this one, man. There's so many points reading the Roll Dodge out of AoEs, out of oh crap moments. So 56, let's get a 20% decrease on the stamina cost because we're not using a stamina buff food. So we really need to save stamina as much as we can. And then Shadow Ward, guys, reduce block. You can, if you not see yourself blocking a lot, you can probably take 10 out of here and put them into Tumbling and just get that dodge roll cheap as heck. But the block cost is nice too if you're more of a blocker. Then, guys, 49 into Tenacity. This is going to increase the Magicka we get from our full heavy attacks. And then Arcanist, guys, will give us more recovery. Again, Arcanist is just so important. It really is. Then we'll be using Warlord, so we can get break free in case we get caught. We can break free easier. And then Sprinter in cost of sprinting. You can probably, again, take some out of Sprinter and put them in the Warlord for this build. 5 into Expert Defender, guys, is going to reduce damage taken by light and heavy attacks, which some ads do, and it's annoying. We're going to do 49 into Hardy, 48 into Elemental Defender, and 49 into Thick-Skinned, guys. So reduce damage taken from physical, poison, and disease damage, reduce damage taken from Flame, Frost, and Shock, and reduce damage taken from direct or damage over time effects. So all 3 are really good, especially for VMA, so make sure you're putting a good amount into all of them. I'd say 48, 49 for each. Then, guys, for the last one, Ironclad, we will be putting 76 in there, and that is going to reduce direct damage, super important, and then Spell Shield will give us more spell resistance. And, guys, that actually does it for this VMA build. Like I said, guys, it is not the best build to go into VMA, but it's a very easy build to have ready to go for VMA. I will have a video out soon. It will be called VMA Easy Build Part 2. I will record it, post it, but I wanted to get this one out to you guys so you had a build to use for VMA. I hope it helps. If you guys have any critiques on the build, please feel free. The last thing I want to say is we are using just normal Magicka pots because you don't need the spell power pots because of Power Surge. But guys, like I said, I really hope you enjoy the video. I hope it helps you. Let me know if it helps you down in the comments. Subscribe, like, comment, as always. And if you guys haven't followed me on Twitch yet, follow me on Twitch because I promise if you come in and say, "Stream VMA, jerk, you said this build works," I will do it. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.